A few years ago, I used to speak to the FBI about terrorism and jihad and so on. And it's very clear that the violent teachings of Islam are just as fervently held, or maybe even more so, by the devout as the teachings of Islam that they've incorporated from Judaism and Christianity. And you know, the Holy Father, in his notorious address at Regensburg a few years back, he aroused international anger by quoting a 14th century Byzantine emperor, Emmanuel II Palaiologos, who said that there is nothing new and innovative in what Muhammad brought except what is evil and inhumane. And actually, just in terms of fact, the teachings of Islam, monotheism, prophets, the general moral code, although I'll talk more about the moral code tomorrow, and various other things that they have in common with us are taken from Judaism and Christianity. They're not new. What is new in Islam is the idea of warfare against unbelievers and the necessity to kill unbelievers under certain circumstances or to subjugate them as inferiors, denied basic rights under Islamic law. That's something new. That's not in Christianity. That's not in Judaism. That's new. And so I have to say, you know, everybody got angry, but they're already angry with me, so I don't really care. Everybody got angry when the Holy Father quoted this, and of course he's in a very difficult and different situation from the one I'm in. But I think that the emperor had a point, that what is new in Islam is to a tremendous degree evil and inhumane. What is not new, what it has in common with Catholicism and with Christianity in general and with Judaism, some of those things are great. But if we are going to overcome the jihad against the West, the jihad against the Catholic Church, the jihad against the United States, if we're going to prevail in that, it can only be by drawing on our own spiritual resources. It can only be by becoming more truly who we are and standing resolutely and forthrightly for that in the face of Islamic violent intimidation. And so I think that one of the main rewards is that evangelization of Muslims may be a key part, if not the key part, of the solution to the global crisis, if it were, by God's grace, taken up by a sufficient number of people and we're able to make sufficient inroads. But that's up to every individual to respond to the call of the Holy Spirit. It is a tremendous, in closing, a tremendous act of faith, act of hope, and act of love to preach to Muslims. It is very difficult. It's very difficult on a number of levels, as I have tried to give you an impression of this afternoon. It is thus a tremendous act of faith to believe enough in who we are, to be able to proclaim it in the face of this kind of resistance and sometimes violent intimidation. It is an act of love, obviously, in the teeth of exactly these kinds of deterrents, to do this in any case, and an act of hope that despite all the obstacles, that the Holy Spirit does still speak to hearts and still draws people to him, as the Lord promised that when he's lifted up, he would draw all men to himself. And so it is with that great hope that we should forthrightly and joyfully take the gospel to Muslims. Thank you.